after my birth parents left me.
We are going to find them. This is all gonna make sense. Us, our connection, why you're a charmed one.
You're this close to figuring out who you are.
We have a serious problem.
Hi guys, welcome back to the Po2 podcast. I'm Jay.
And I'm Amber.
And I'm Andrea.
And today we're going to review the newest and latest episode of the Charmed reboot, episode 8 of season 4, Unveiled.
This episode was written by Bianca Sams. This episode was very interesting. We learned about Kayla in this episode. We discovered her true kind of origin, if you could say that. So what did you think of this episode?
Well, let's just start with what I liked about it. Let's talk about the Vera Book of Shadows. It's back. It's back.
Yes! That was like a major moment because I think we've spoken about this so many times on the podcast that we feel like, you know, the book needed to come back. You know, we missed the book. And it happened.
So they incorporated Mel's new power into how they brought the book back. So she went back in time, and I believe she went to the events of the season 2 premiere, and she took it while they were when they were partying. So her reasoning is that as long as she gives it back, puts it back at that specific time, they can hold on to the Vera book indefinitely.
What did you think about seeing the book again?
I was really excited. I was happy that they even did a little CGI flip through. It really felt like a season 1 moment. If they do this every episode for the rest of the season and hopefully every future season forward, I'd be very, very happy.
So one of the things that I'm trying to kind of work out is she said she took it from the timeline. She went back to that time and she took it.
Mm-hmm.
I thought she was just gonna, after she got the spell, because she uses it to create a spell.
Yeah.
And I thought afterwards she was gonna go and put it back. But
that's what I thought too. They were making it sound like she was just borrowing it. But on Twitter, they said that we'll see it the rest of the season. So I don't know. It was just the way that they explained it on the show made it seem like it was just temporary. Like, oh, here's just something for the fans, but I guess it's back for good. I thought they could have done something else, you know. I mean, I'm glad that they brought it back. I'm not complaining, but I just thought the way that they did it just seemed a little silly. Because if she can go back in time and get it and not have to give it back anytime soon, then why didn't she do it episodes ago?
Exactly.
Also, it just doesn't really make sense, because if she can just hold on to it indefinitely, because see, the thing is, the book needs to be in the past because it needs to be destroyed for the command center to open up. So by keeping the book in the future, the book won't get destroyed, and season 2 and 3 won't ever happen, which I'm fine with. Honestly, I'm fine if season 5 starts with and be like, yeah, we're gonna keep the book, and then season 2 and 3 gets rewritten or something. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, that would be so cool. I'd be really happy if that happened.
But I honestly would have preferred if they did like a power of 3 spell and just reconstitute it that way. I would have.
Yeah, that would have been really nice. They should have done that.
Joey Falco said that the book in this reboot, like the original, is like a living entity or is like a living thing. So why couldn't they just do a resurrection spell? On top of that, Kayla can also manifest. So why can't she just manifest exact duplicate? But he said that it can't be copied, it can't be manifested. So I guess they just decided to do it this way. It doesn't really make sense, but I'm not going to complain because it's back. So
yeah.
Thank you, Charmed writers. We're so happy. Oh, and the artwork was so beautiful. It made me kind of emotional, because I just kept thinking, man, we really missed out on almost 3 seasons of artwork for the Book of Shadows. Instead, we got the Book of Elders, the 2021 version. It just seemed like we missed out a lot of Book of Shadows moments.
Yep, we sure did. So this episode started off with Ruby. She went to her car and she found some flowers with a note, and we got a flashback to her past. We got to see her when she was younger with her mum. She comes home to all these sunflowers, and apparently her demon stepdad had left them for her. What did you think of that? Because we got to see, we got to see Ruby's kind of backstory.
But did we need to see it? You know, I don't want to be rude, but I'm just going to say it, and I apologize to anyone who's a fan of Ruby, but I don't give a fuck about Ruby. I don't care. Like, she's no longer Mel's romantic interest anymore. I would get if they were still together, but they broke up. They actually made it seem like when Ruby came back and revealed she's with Swan now, and she's all like focused on safe space and like the homeless kids, I thought that was them writing her out. I thought that that was like her send off, that, oh, okay, she gets a happy ending. She moves on with Swan. And like now we're getting more of Ruby than we've gotten for like the past 2-3 years, which is ridiculous. I think of all the characters to write about, to spend all this limited time on, because let's face it, this is a very short season. We're only getting 13 episodes. For them to put so much focus on Ruby, I just feel like that was a wasted effort. Like, I don't know, maybe she has fans, but I just don't care about Ruby. Sorry, but not sorry.
Well, I'm going to contradict you there, or, go against you, because I actually enjoyed this episode. I actually enjoyed all that. I actually had forgotten that Ruby even had a demonic stepdad. I didn't know that she was in witness protection, because we saw her mum use an athame and she stabbed a book, which I assume that was their family grimoire or their Book of Shadows. And it did what happened in season 2. It opened up a portal. I thought that witness protection was only for the charmed ones.
So I guess in an emergency, if Coven or Witch family's Book of Shadows or Grimoire gets destroyed, then it automatically puts them in witchness protection. I think just let that speak for itself.
So you're not a fan, I take
No,
it.
it's so stupid. I'm sorry, it's stupid. I know that they're trying to do what they can to tie into what I know they're trying their best to tie into previous seasons, and the people in charge of it now, they did not have the creative control and made the decisions that happened in season 2 and 3. I get it. And they've said it many times on Twitter, but I just feel that they go out of their way to ignore and not talk about certain elements from previous seasons. And they'll tell fans, oh, well, I don't know why they did that. That wasn't our call. We weren't in charge then. I get it. But then why would you go and try to tie into the most hated, stupidest plot point of season 2? And make it like, oh, this is like how witches operate in this universe, that if their book gets destroyed or damaged or whatever, or stabbed, then it opens up a portal and they go through witchness protection.
So Ruby's stepdad, Earl, he is a demon. I don't think they'd established what kind of demon he is, but his power was that he could clone himself, so he could make multiples of himself, which reminded me of Eames from the original series. He had that power.
Yeah.
And so he his character was really, he was kind of playing like the abusive, like evil stepfather,
Yeah,
which,
yeah, I can see that. I mean, no, that's literally what he was. He was the abusive stepfather that Ruby and her mom were trying to get away from. But speaking of that, I just did not like, not that I have anything against the actor. I think the actor did a good job for what was asked of him. But
yeah,
I
and he's
just,
been in a lot of things. He's been in a
yeah.
lot of shows.
Um, but what I didn't like is he was very similar in personality to the Tally Man, especially when they confronted him and he was like, like I guess like at the last confrontation before he blew himself up, like this Earl person had similar energy, and I just feel like it just feels a little redundant, especially since I'm hesitant to bring up race, but I just feel like I don't like constantly seeing this like white dude terrorizing women of color or people of color in general. I feel like that's something that's been done a lot on TV, and I know that they did not address it this time. They did in season one. In season one, for the Pixie episode, Mel's character several times kept talking about, oh, white guy this, white guy that. But this episode, they didn't bring up his race, but it's still very blatant. You
She
know,
was like that a lot in season one, wasn't she?
yeah, yeah. I'm
Don't come
glad.
near me, you cis white man.
Yeah, yeah. I'm glad that they dropped that a lot, but
Yeah.
I still didn't like seeing that again. And maybe it was intentional, maybe they didn't even, or maybe they didn't even think too much about it, but it's just like I did not need to see a black woman and her daughter being terrorized by some like big white dude. It just seemed too on the nose, especially how race has been politicized so much. I don't know, it just bothered me. And I'm a person of color, I'm Latino, I'm a brown guy. I get why they're trying to why they may be doing things like that, but I'm just saying like I watch TV to escape this kind of thing. And I'd say that this season in general has a very strong political vibe to it. I feel like the whole unseen thing, like the whole unseen group comes across like QAnon or trolls, like the whole Capitol Hill type thing. Like I don't know. I get what they're trying to do, but at the same time, it's like I don't want to see it. I hope that they kind of calm that down after this season if they come back.
To me, it was just like he was just this bad guy. So maybe it's different for you because it's different for you. But for me, he was just this bad guy that was after, you know.
It's not just charm though. Maybe I'm just speaking on because I watch a lot of TV and I'm seeing this kind of thing a lot where there's like, you know, people of color being terrorized by white people. And like I said, I don't think that they're just trying to demonize white people in general. I guess they're just trying to show. I guess the point that I'm saying is that I don't want to see violence against people of color, especially on a show like Charmed. It just doesn't. It just I don't know. I don't like that.
Yeah, I can understand that. Um, and you know, what did you think of the guy that played him?
I mean, kind of to turn the tables on the whole, on the vibe of what I just said, but it's like he could be my stepdad anytime.
Yeah, he was
No,
good
Mike
looking.
Mike Dopit is really, really. I've seen him in other shows too. He's pretty. He's very attractive.
He's been in a lot of stuff. He's been in like Smallville and a lot of, I'm sure he's been in like a lot of popular stuff. So after we found out after the book, I guess one of the main plots for this episode is obviously Kayla finds out who her parents really are.
So, what did you think of that whole reveal?
Well, I wasn't I wasn't disappointed. I think a lot of people are going to be disappointed because spoiler alert, if you haven't seen the episode, which you should have done, um, we find out this week that Kayla is not biologically related to Mal and Maggie.
Yep, she's not a biological sister, which I'm really disappointed about. Actually, I feel like that's another reason why I didn't like this episode. Not because they decided to go this route, it's because there was a moment where it felt like a fake out. And I'll explain why. Okay, I don't know why, but why did Maggie have like the sticky hand thing?
So she went to an antique shop to get part of the other part of the bowl. They're looking for a magical bowl. I think it was from the previous episode. I can't really remember. But they were looking for a magical bowl to do something.
Yeah.
And the guy that was in the owner of the shop was some kind of like frog creature, and he had sticky hands. And there was a scene with Maggie, and he was like, "Get out of here because you're one of the charmed ones." And
But
he's been,
what's the point of the sticky hands? Like what does it do?
I don't know, it's just one of his powers. I guess he's like a frog, so that maybe he can like attach himself to things. I don't know.
But it's supposed to work on magical beings.
Yeah, it works on magical beings. She mimics his power.
Yeah, no, I get that. She mimics his power, but what's the power just besides having a sticky hand
It's poisonous. It's poisonous to
against
people.
magical people, right?
No, non-magical people. Non-magical people. That is why both
No.
Kara's
I
parents
get that. I'm just wondering like why that's even a power. So this frog creature has this power that he has slime on his hand that it only affects non-magical people.
I don't know.
And then Maggie
I
happens to copy that power so that they could have her accidentally touch Michaela's parents to reveal that they're non-magical. Do you
mm,
get how stupid that all sounds?
yeah, but this is the charmed reboot,
It's no
Joe.
excuse. It's no excuse. There are smarter, more creative ways to get from point A to point B. Like the fact that I couldn't even remember how the hell she even had sticky hands. Like that should tell you that it's not good writing. The point is that it reveals that they're non-magical. So at that point, I thought that it was going to be like revealed that they're not actually her parents. I thought it was going to be revealed that they were mistaken and, maybe Marisol is her mother. But no, all it just means is that they're non-magical and that's it. But they made it seem like this whole, like the fact that they were non-magical, the reaction made it seem like they couldn't possibly be her parents. But then the next scene, that wasn't the case. So I don't know. I just didn't like that. There was a couple moments like that, like the whole Book of Shadows explanation. They made it seem like it was gonna be temporary, not the whole season. So I don't know. The writing wasn't very clear or concise.
Well, so yeah. To be honest, my opinion is if Kayla isn't their biological sister, that doesn't really bother me because Macy never really felt like their biological sister. To me, they always felt like friends that were kind of brought together. I think Mel and Maggie felt like sisters, but Macy didn't. She always felt like the odd one out. Maybe Macy and Maggie felt close, but Mel and Macy, they never really had that sort of connection for me. So
Yeah, I'm not that pressed about Michaela not being blood related. I mean, for the reasons that you said, I mean, I don't really, that didn't bother me as much. Like I said, the way that they're doing it just seems messy, especially for a big episode like this. I was actually really looking forward to this episode because I believe Joey tweeted, I think he deleted the tweet, but he did say that we would find out how Michaela's connected to them in this episode. So yeah, I was really looking forward to this one. And then that also leads into the big theory that I guess it's true. One of the big fan theories is that because Michaela had cancer, people were saying, well, maybe she had a bone marrow transplant, and it's possible that Macy was the donor, or maybe Marisol was the donor, and she has Vera blood in her veins, and that's how she got her charm powers. It seems like that's going to be what's going to happen, because I did remember Lucy Barrett did an interview, and she said that her cancer storyline will play a role in how she's connected to Macy and Mel, or to Maggie and Mel. Um, but honestly, this is what I thought. I honestly thought that when we saw her biological parents in the portrait, I believed that it was a fake out. I thought that those people were the parents of her donor, and that it was going to be revealed that it would be Marisol and Dexter.
Yeah,
So,
I thought they it was going to be that they were under some kind of like illusion, some kind of like
yeah.
magical disguise, and that it would really reveal that it was Marisol and Dexter. But no,
And I think that the way the biological parents reacted to her and welcomed her, it would seem kind of cruel to do a fake out at this point. So I'm inclined to believe that those really are her parents. So I don't think they're gonna do the whole, oh psych, it's actually Marisol and Dexter the whole time. Like, I mean, I don't know. I mean, they could do it, but I just think at this point it'd be kind of stupid because of the whole reunion thing. Seemed a little too I don't know, it would just seem kind of cruel to put Michaela through that and then to find out that those are not her parents.
there's the two central plots after we find out Kayla's parents' identity is really Earl and Ruby's storyline and also Harry's storyline, because he uses the scroll that he gets from the frog dude, and he finds
I
out
gotta
that
rewatch. I'm sorry, I gotta rewatch that part because I don't remember the frog person. I saw the whole episode. I honestly don't remember a frog person. That's
he
crazy
was
to me.
he was just like a regular guy, but he had funny hands and they were sort of like
Oh,
frog-like. Sorry. But but when they showed the Book of Elders, there was like a frog eye on the page, and it looked a bit froggish. And also because of the way that Maggie's hands looked, they were sort of webbed. That's kind of
I
why I think.
remember that. Yeah, so it must have been really early in the episode. I just don't remember. I guess I just wasn't that interested.
So Harry uses the scroll he finds out that there's some kind of like magical illusion on there, and he ends up doing a spell. He uses the full disclosure spell to reveal this name that is on the parchment. So apparently,
They're using that spell a lot this season.
Harry can cast spells now. Did he cast spells before? Because I don't remember him casting spells before.
I I don't know.
So he casts this spell, and what I found kind of interesting is they've changed how the spell works. Because if you remember, when they used the spell in season one, Macy used the spell, and all the secrets be revealed. She had all these things flying at her, didn't she? She had like
Yeah.
the resurrection book, and she had like, her mum's
Oh,
letters and
I remember one of the writers tweeted, the official writers account. They tweeted that their dildo flew out of across. They tweeted that their dildo flew across the room when they did the spell.
oh my
Ugh,
god, I remember that.
so cringeworthy.
So they've changed how it works now. Apparently, they can use it for just anything, and they can use it, and it will just reveal the truth about one particular thing.
Didn't the original do something like that? That they took like one of the like season one or two spells and then just do like a shortened version of it?
Yeah, they did that with the truth spell, and they did that with the exchange power spell. So
Yeah,
Um,
so I mean, I guess we can just chalk it up to them um being so good at it that they've like condensed it and it's more effective, you know.
yeah, so Harry ends up going into the Vale and he meets Dexter, who basically tells them that he was the original owner of this bowl. He's the one that bought the bowl, and it was something to do with the seven tribes of magic or something. So I don't know. I don't know. And there was some kind of creepy, like
Yeah,
weird
the
woman.
lore, the whole lore thing. There was just so many things that I could not like process.
There was some like woman with like making all these like funny weird noises, and she had
She
like a net curtain over her face.
she reminded me of that demon Dinza from Angel, and also that like mutant thing from the new Resident Evil movie. She kind of, so this character, this like ghost that was after Harry, reminded me of like those two characters.
At the end of the episode, we got a really funny scene where Mel has a potion that she needs to mimic Ruby's voice. And guess what happens? She has to,
Oh, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. To make the spell work, they have to kiss Ruby.
yeah, that made me laugh.
Ugh.
Um, but there was some really terrible ADR there, wasn't there?
Yeah, I remember messaging you as I was watching it live. There were so many audio problems like when I was watching it. Because here's the thing, when they film, there's boom mics and there's microphones that pick up what they're saying as they're filming, right? But if something doesn't come through really well, they have to go into a studio later, like in post-production. The actors come in and they re-record, they react to what's on film, and they have to speak over it and match it up perfectly. That's called ADR. I think it's called audio dub replacement, I think.
Don't
um,
ask me, I haven't got a clue.
ADR means automated dialogue replacement, and that's what they do to redo audio that didn't come up well in the microphone when they were recording. So there was a lot of moments in this episode where the ADR sounded horrible. It was not mixed well. It was like, especially during transition scenes, I think when it went from Maggie and Michaela at her parents' house, and they transitioned, I think, to like with Harry and Maggie's dad, Dexter. So when it transitioned from that to Harry and Dexter, you can hear like the audio how it does not fit. I think you see it from like Michaela's back or Maggie's back, and they're trying to edit it to make it fit, but it doesn't fit at all. And there was like several moments of like that in the episode.
Yeah, I noticed that when Mel was voicing over Ruby's voice when she was like talking, I was like, Ruby's voice doesn't match what she's saying. It kind of reminded me of like, do you remember Power Rangers, like the first season of Power Rangers when they were like using the Japanese dub for
Oh
Rita?
yeah, yeah, for Rita Repulsa.
So you want to raise some trees, yeah?
Yeah, and like her mouth would move like in different ways and she'd like say something, but it would like totally not match what she was saying. It was like that a little bit, a little bit. It wasn't that bad, but it was off. Um, but you know what? I really like those final scenes with Earl. I like that scene that Mel, that the girl power, the three of them like teaming up to take him down. Um, when Ruby got stabbed, I thought, okay, bye.
I had like a oh no reaction, but at the same time I was like good. But
Yeah,
then no.
I was the same. I thought, okay, no, I don't want her to go, but I was like, oh, okay. And then she got up, and I was like, how the fuck did she get up? And then I remembered,
That they did that doll spell. It was from the Blindaje dolls.
and also the big twist at the end of the episode is that when Harry was trying to escape that crazy neck curtain lady,
Mhm.
that's what I'm going to call her, the neck curtain lady. He jumped with Dexter and they jumped into his footprints, and surprise, surprise, Dexter's now alive again.
But does that mean that Harry's still trapped in there?
I don't know, because Harry didn't wake up, did he?
Yeah, he did not wake up.
So makes you wonder what's
Yeah.
going to happen there.
Yeah, he's probably going to be out while Harry's trapped inside. And I think next episode, they'll just have to deal with that and put him back where he belongs and get Harry out. I think
Yeah.
that's probably what's going to happen. Um, but I think, okay, another moment that I'm going to say real quick. I knew that this whole thing with Dexter was going to happen when they started having Maggie out of nowhere start telling Michaela that she never got to meet Dexter. All these times that they've talked, the one time she brings up, oh, I've never met Dexter, is like this same episode that they decided to bring him back. So, just
Why
horrible.
do they do that?
I
Why
don't
do
know. I
they?
don't know. I just feel like if you're planning out a season, and I'm not going to tell the writers that they're not doing a good job, because I think they've been doing a phenomenal job mostly. But what I'm trying to say is that if they know how the season's going to go, they could at least drop hints or foreshadowing earlier in the season and not have it so like shoved in our faces just before the big reveal. It's just, I'm sorry, but it's not good writing. Because
Well,
I knew as soon as she said that, I'm like, oh, okay, well then I guess they're bringing Dexter back.
yeah. I mean, a lot of us, because they did tease that someone from our past was going to come back, and a lot of people on Twitter, myself included, but I noticed that a lot of the fans were saying that they thought it was going to be Lucy, because there was a picture of Maggie with her margarita glass, which was. I would have preferred if Lucy came back.
Yeah,
Uh,
even for one episode, I would love it to see if she's grown at all.
yeah, I bet she has. I bet she's like changed quite a bit. That would be really nice to see, because Maggie has certainly changed a lot.
Yeah.
So
What would you
any
rate this episode?
I would rate this episode 9 out of 10. What?
I'm gonna give it a 4.5 out of 10. The
Oh my
only the
God.
only the only thing that I liked was the Book of Shadows coming back. That okay, I'll bump it up to 5 out of 10. If it wasn't for the book, I would give it like a 3.
Oh
I'm sorry.
wow.
I'm sorry. I did not like it at all. It was not. I'm sure I'll appreciate it more in rewatches, but I would say that I've been watching not live or next day on the CW app. I've been keeping up with it every week, every time a new episode airs, and I've thoroughly enjoyed every episode up until now. So I'm not biased. I'm not saying that like, oh, every episode sucks. I'm just saying this episode was not up to par with the rest. And I hope that the rest of the season closes out much better. But this episode in itself, it wasn't terrible. It was just badly executed, I think.
Mm. Well, I just completely disagree. Chalk and cheese. And I actually said on Twitter, I thought we were going to have very different opinions. So turns out I was right.
Yeah, because we try not to tell each other what we think too much while we're watching it, because we want our reactions to be fresh when we come together to record. So I think I was like, I think I was messaging stuff like WTF, what the hell, you know?
Yeah, you were. I was like, oh my God, this isn't like my reaction. So we've got a lot to look forward to next week, because apparently the girls are going to get trapped in a snow globe.
Ooh, well, hit us up next week or come listen to us next week, and we will definitely we will review that episode next week. So tune in and follow us on Twitter, Po2_podcast. We got to wrap up. We got like 30 seconds left.
Okay, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next week.